Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, how are my snipers doing today? I hope you guys are doing fantastic. Listen, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, today we are going to be talking about Bitcoin and the upcoming news that is happening tomorrow. Tomorrow is going to be a very, very crazy day. So just be careful and do not get yourself a heart attack because the markets may be very well manipulated. Ladies and gentlemen, we have NFP coming out, which is pretty much a very, very big, massive news event once a month, right? The first Friday of each month for America. We also have Jordan Powell speaking at 12 o'clock or 12:30, somewhere around those lines. Let's see exactly what time, 12:30. So we can see red folders equals big, big news events. And we can see we have 5 red folders exactly at 8:30. And the big ones, the main ones are the American ones. And then obviously we have Jordan Powell at 12:30. And ladies and gentlemen, we have the summit tomorrow. So expect a lot of things to be said, a lot of things to be signed. Very, very exciting, but also expect the markets to be manipulated. Okay. So if we go to Bitcoin, I know it looks messy, but literally this is my chart that I, made a couple of days ago talking about Bitcoin, what I expect the price action. And we can see I haven't touched anything, right? I have not touched anything. And last time I was talking was somewhere roughly here, right? It was about, I think, Wednesday where I was making this video. And we can see that the zones I have marked up were literally perfect. Okay, they were literally perfect. We talked about how there's a zone over here and how we most likely are going to get some kind of top here, right? I was talking about the 92 to 93K area, right? Hence why I drew this thing over here. And then we can see even when it started to crash below and retest, if we go to smaller time frames, we can see like the 15-minute candle, right? 15-minute candle, this one over here, this green one, it was above the zone at one point, but then it closed below. And then you can see 15 minutes later, it absolutely dumped. And remember, I didn't touch anything. I left this for, the last few days, and, it pretty much played perfectly around these zones. That's why I say there's no coincidences in the markets. It is more about us figuring out why things are moving the way they're moving, looking at the details in the markets. And, if anything, I'm always going to blame myself, right? If something doesn't go my way, it is because of human error and not because the markets are this way or that way. Okay. I remember at the end of the day with markets, you have zero control over them. You can only be looking at the clues and details the markets leave, you know, and at that point, you got to make this decision. Okay, is this going to be sideways? Is this going to be going up? Is this going to be going down? Is this a dead news day? Or is this, dead market today? You always have to be the one that makes the call, even though you have zero control. Okay, so that's why, the screen was messy. I just wanted to leave it out there. I will mark up Bitcoin and we will talk about other coins. At this current moment, ladies and gentlemen, we can see that we are tapping into all of these order blocks over here, and we are creating a triple tap reversal sign. However, I do believe there's more context than just that. We can see that we are tapped into the 4-hour order block, and we are getting a decent rejection. But at the moment, ladies and gentlemen, there is going to be a very, very big decider coming sooner than later. Okay. When we look at the markets in this way, we have a low and then we have a nice high. Okay. We broke this structure. We broke all this structure on the left of, 86,780, and we broke the structure of 89,250 more or less. And then we went back down. We created a higher low. Okay. So we have this bottom and then we have this bottom. This bottom's higher, but this roof, unfortunately, is lower. And this is what I was saying, is that this is probably going to be the most probable scenario, is that we're going to get something where we're going to be kind of put in a pickle where the market's going to have to decide. Because if you were to continue this pattern, right, let's say creating higher lows and lower highs, you do eventually find yourself squished and you do have to explode one way or another, which is, it's very funny that coincidentally, ladies and gentlemen, we have all this news coming out tomorrow. So, it just proof that the markets are super manipulated, and, these market makers do prepare for manipulation, like we can see, right? Bottom, higher bottom, top, lower top has to explode somewhere, and we probably will get this big massive explosion during sometime tomorrow, or we might even get multiple explosions where we might crash a lot and then we might pump a lot. So expect a very, very volatile day. Do not get scared. Do not get scared, ladies and gentlemen. We can see a lot of cryptos are a little bit in the red, right? We can see 1%, -1%, -2%, 6%, 2.5%, 4.5%. So some coins are bleeding more than others. We will cover Bitcoin dominance just also for a second before we go into the altcoins officially. We can see, ladies and gentlemen, that we have been generally ranging. My bias for Bitcoin dominance is generally up. It really is, okay? The lowest it should go is into this order block. So if it does go back down here, we may see a nice little green pump of our altcoins, right? Depending on the context, right? If Bitcoin drops a lot and Bitcoin dominance drops a lot, then our coins might not suffer that much and they might just pump a little bit. But if Bitcoin, pumps and Bitcoin dominance starts going down, that means there's going to be a lot more money entering the markets, right? Because there's more money in Bitcoin and there's more money in altcoins. So we may see some green, but don't get baited. Don't get baited. This isn't going to be the start of the altcoin season. We still need a lot more confirmation and signs for there to even be, a reason for us to think an altcoin season is going to happen. I do personally believe, based off data, based off probability, I think it's going to happen summer. Just a guess based off what I've seen, the evidence, the data, and just even a gut feeling, right? I do believe things are going to be slightly delayed this time around. I also do think there's also a good chance for a double pump. And my guess slash intuition is telling me that we will, sometime during the summer slash early fall, like September, we may get a pump somewhere there. And then the beginning of the new year, we might get a pump maximum until February, March, and that's where we'll crash. A double pump is never guaranteed, but based off market manipulation, there's always a high probability, right? The way the markets generally go nowadays is that we do whatever we have to do. We have a pump, some kind of pullback, and either we pump up to create a lower high and then we sell off bear season. It's going to be the same thing all over again for the next couple of years. Or, ladies and gentlemen, we create a pump, we sell off, and then we create a higher high before we start crashing down. Okay. So those are the two most likely scenarios. I would like to see, and I do think actually Bitcoin will create a higher high before it crashes. The reason why I say this is because this 3-month candle, right? This was the push we made to go above these highs. And this 3-month candle at this current moment, January, February, March, more or less is going to be the candle that's retesting. Now, sure, could April still things be delayed a little bit? Sure. But generally speaking, I do believe that this is going to be the main retest candle. We could get something very similar where we also have, April, May, June kind of chill a little bit before we pump. And if April, May, June is going to be the one where we kind of chill a little bit, then July, August, September is going to be the massive pump, right? The massive pump, just like this candle was. And then we might peak a little bit higher going into the new year, and then we might dump, right? I'm not 100% sure how it'll play out, but I'm very confident that we will continue going up just because even if we compare the charts compared to previous times, this is a very healthy 3-month candle. There's literally no issue at this current moment. I don't think we will be consolidating for 6 to 7 months the way we were previously. The reason why I think we won't is because the context was different. We had to turn a roof into a floor, and that takes a long time. Now we kind of just expanded, and I really doubt we're going to have the same amount of consolidation, the same amount of, sideways movement before we expand. Overall, like I said, still very, very bullish, right? We have a high, a low, higher high. No matter where we end up, even if we ended up here, it's a higher low, and I expect for us to push one final time. I don't know where 100% we're going to end up with the Bitcoin push, right? We could even use the Fibonacci tool to just guess. It is a pretty nice tool and indicator, but it doesn't mean it's always going to be 100% accurate. Also depends where you put it. For me, this is fair area to put it because we put it at the bottom of the range to the top. So we could get a push upwards of 150K. And you know what? That would not be too surprising since we did go pretty much, let's say, from 70K to 110K. So another 40K. And I don't expect the pump to be as great. So even if we went 20, 30K above this, that would be roughly 130 to 140K. So yeah, upwards of this 1.6 area before we get some kind of correction. Now, obviously, we'll be updating you in the future, right? This is just speculation. This is not, confirmed bias. I have to see the charts in the moment. Just like I was really confident when we were getting more and more reversal signs here. Then I was like, all right, guys, we are for sure going to the moon. And then we can see a couple weeks later, we pumped. And that's exactly what happened. So that is it, ladies and gentlemen. Overall, the markets have been very nice. I know a lot of people are a little bit worried. For me, this is just buying opportunities. I've been dollar cost averaging here and there, but generally speaking, I know a lot of you guys are over it and you do want a very nice altcoin season, which I believe we will get, right? We get this pump up to whatever, let's say 140K. The drop off is going to be crazy, right? I think we would probably drop back down to 50K levels. So Bitcoin crashing hypothetically from somewhere here to here, right? If we take the measuring tool from here to here, would be, if that was a 60% drop, right? Or even 50% drop, Bitcoin dominance will also drop a lot. Altcoins would pump very heavy, and we would have a fantastic time. That is it, ladies and gentlemen. I hope you guys did enjoy, and I'll talk to you guys next time. Goodbye.